Hola, amigos. Welcome to the Best of Mazatlan Show. My name is Mark Lickman, and I'm your host and publisher of bestofmazatlan.com, the leading digital lifestyle brand of Mazatlan, Mexico. This show will feature entrepreneurs, leaders, local businesses, nonprofits, realtors, musicians, and other stories that showcase the best of Mazatlan, Mexico. I'm thrilled to be with my guest, Lisa Lankins. I wanted Lisa on the show not only because of her passion for Mazatlan, but also for her passion on bringing the foreign community together and turning them on to the culture of Mazatlan and helping both cultures understand each other a little better. She is a tremendous resource for the foreign community in Mazatlan, and for the last 8 years has worked with the city of Mazatlan for DIF, CAPTA, and Cultura as an interpreter and promoter in English and as a liaison for the foreign community. Before that, she worked in English-speaking media and now teaches a Spanish for Emergencies class. Lisa is a promoter of all the many cultural offerings that Mazatlan has to offer and has Facebook pages. What's happening in Mazatlan? That's one word. What's happening in Mazatlan? And Friends of Cultura Mazatlan that you should follow to stay current. But Lisa also has a kind heart and a warm smile and is a tremendous resource and go-to to the foreign community. Even if it is something out of the realm of her responsibilities, Lisa will direct you to someone who can help you. So without further ado, welcome to the Best of Mazatlan show, Lisa. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here, and I appreciate the invitation.
You're welcome. I'm going to start the show, Lisa, by turning it over to you to tell us a bit about you, your background, and how you ended up in Mazatlan from the streets of Oregon.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a long story. I don't think it's that interesting, but I guess we all have interesting stories with something that would bring us to move to another country or give us that freedom to feel we can do that. But so when I was in high school and college, I studied Spanish. I had no plans to teach Spanish. I had no plans to translate at that point. I got into the travel industry out of college, and I worked in the travel industry for about 9 years, loved it, but I decided I wanted to do something more humanitarian. So I decided to go to work at a hospital. And so there I translated. We had about a third of our patients were Mexican in Hillsboro, Oregon, outside of Portland. And I really hadn't thought much of moving to Mexico. But then I had some kind of sad things happen. And don't worry, it's a good ending. But both my parents passed away within 2 years, and I was divorced, and I don't have any children, so I was really free to do whatever I wanted to. It was something that was kind of a revelation that, I don't have to stay or, in this box. I can do whatever I want. So within about a year of that, I was offered a job in Mazatlan at a hotel. I'd never been here. I came down with the owner's family for Christmas to see the hotel, and within a couple of weeks, I decided that yes, I was going, and gave my boss 2 months notice. I was working for an OBGYN clinic as her nurse then, and I worked in a hospital for 10 years. So I quit both of those jobs to come here, and it was never, it was not a bad decision, of course. I had a rough start in the hotel. It wasn't the greatest job, but we were able to, figure out what to do afterwards. He didn't offer me a ride home or anything. So I have to forgive him a little bit, though, because I ended up being where I'm supposed to be in my life. And, I've gone back, of course, and back and forth a few times since then. But I've been here 16 years now, and half of that has been working for the city. So that's how I got where I am. After the hotel, I worked as a writer and editor for a couple different businesses. And then went to work for the city. Thanks to the Feltons, I was hired, and I had an office in Plaza Zaragoza for 3 years. Every new administration, they've let me go and brought me back, which I'm forever grateful for. it's a choice to make. I earn pesos, but I am very happy to do it because I feel like I can make a difference. And of course, all of the people that I know have made a huge difference in my life as well. So it's all good news.
That's great. Great story, Lisa. If you're watching this show live, everybody, please like and share this show and send in your questions to Lisa. To send in your questions, you need to go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give them permission. And if you're watching this show later, you can still send your questions in and we'll get them answered. And there's going to be an archived version of this show on bestofmazatlan.com. So, Lisa, what were some of the challenges when you first started living in Mazatlan?
Oh, let's see. Understanding the culture is a major one. I even being here 16 years and speaking Spanish fluently, I still don't claim to know everything about it, but yeah, understanding like the time situation, the Mexican minute and how that's actually can be beneficiary to us. And relaxing a little bit, taking it easy. Language wasn't a barrier for me too much, although I have improved a lot, since I've been here. What else? Really, it's pretty easy to live here. There's great public transportation, lots of information available, what to do, and so I don't really see a lot of problems. I really don't.
Great, that's great. With the truly special and historic Peralta Theater, Mazatlan has always had wonderful cultural offerings. But now the city has just exploded with theater, music, art, and literary offerings seemingly every day and certainly every season. Tell us about the evolution of Mazatlan's cultural offerings because they've just exploded recently.
Right. Well, so I'm going to start just like 4 years ago, or yeah, a little over 4 years ago. I'll start there because we had we've always had this great, I'm trying to say it's not a department, it's like a subsection of the city. We're all city employees, but Cultura. And Cultura has always had amazing support and amazing leadership. And so prior to this administration, it was Raul Rico, who everybody knows and I have a great affection for. He's kind of like my brother. He did a wonderful thing, had tons of connections. He was there for 30 years taking care of Cultura, including the theater. He was a big part of when they remodeled it, getting close to 30 years ago now. And so I was worried when he was retiring with the new administration. Like, how are they ever going to replace him? It's just impossible. And this new administration came in, didn't have experience. It was a little rough start, but then my friend Jose Angel Tostado was put in charge of Cultura by the mayor, Químico Luis Benito Torres, and they have in the last, it's been 4 years now, so because he's in his second term, have completely, gone above and beyond. I'm extremely happy with the changes that they've made, the growth that they've made, and the difference that they listen to the people and really involve the people of Mazatlan, both local and foreign, in their attempt to bring culture to all corners of the port. That's the idea. So, they've done a great job. I'm extremely proud of them, including this year's Carnival. I think might have been the most beautiful I've seen in my 16 years here. So that took them, 3 years of practice, but they got it right. So we have nothing but better things to come, I think, so.
Fantastic. That's so great to hear, Lisa.
Yeah.
I know we're in the throes of the spring season right now, and I know there's a great performance tonight as well. But tell us about what's coming up this spring. What's left?
Okay, I'm gonna put on my Elton John glasses. That's what I call them. But anyway, so I can read a little bit. But so tonight there's an amazing show. It's called Historias de Amor, and it's basically opera. arias and from several different operas, beautiful voices, piano, and that's at Casa Haas at 7:30. And you have to buy your tickets though at the Angela Peralta Theater is the only thing. They don't have a way to buy or to sell tickets at the Casa Haas Theater. So anyway, I wouldn't miss that. It's really good. Coming up, do you want me to go on with the next events?
Tell us what's coming up. Tell us how people can get tickets as well, because is it always the same, or are there different ways to get tickets at the different performances?
No, that's the only way to get tickets. They've tried to be able to sell them online. They've tried, several other things, but they just keep coming back to only having them available at the theater. And it's open from 9 until 8, Monday through Friday, and 9 till 2 on Saturdays. Okay. And so that's for both the Angela Peralta Theater and Casa Haas. Okay. So anyway, coming up on Friday, we have 2 events, both at Casa Haas and the Angela Peralta Theater. The first one is called Concierto Appassionato, which is highlights the Adagio Trio at 7:30 p.m. at Casa Haas this Friday. The next one is a great popular thing with the foreign community, and if you haven't been or if you love it, I would highly recommend going again this Friday, the 27th, Ballet Folklorico Fandango, which is at the Angela Peralta Theater at 8 p.m. That's, the infamous, folkloric dance, and it's just so much fun and so full of energy. That's right, yes. Great, thank you for putting it up. Then on Friday, Saturday, June 11th, we have a great concert but with a piano, which is called Cuba Dentro de un Piano. So that's going to be a Cuban piano, like jazz concert. That's going to be a blast. I skipped over June 3rd, Las Diferentes Caras de Beethoven with the Orquesta Angela Peralta at the theater at 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, June 18th, we have the ballet El Mago de Oz, which is the ballet for the Wizard of Oz, which is really a great thing, fun thing to watch. It's with the Compañía Ballet de Mazatlan at the theater. TAP, TAP is what they call the Angela Peralta, TAP, Teatro Angela Peralta, at 8 p.m. Then on the 24th of June, we have a piano concert with Jose Miguel Rivera, a very well-known pianist here from Mazatlan. June 28th and 29th, we have Activación Cultural at the Parque Ciudades Hermanas. So what that is it means cultural activation. And so they're going to have all kinds of different arts available at the Sister Cities Park. That starts at 6 p.m. on the 28th and 29th. In addition to that, this is the end of the school year for Cultura. And so they're going to be having all kinds of graduations and special, shows put on by the students to their end of the year. And those are available on our calendar, which we will be posting hopefully in the next, once I get offline, I will be sharing that calendar again too, if it doesn't show up here. Other things that they have going on in Cultura, which I'm very proud of, again, is Cultura en tu comunidad, which is Cultura in your community. And they take different shows out to the poorer communities for people and children especially to see what is happening, what is available, what is possible for them. And they even have available some scholarships and things like that for students. But it's something that's really important for them to be exposed to, right? They have a thing called Diálogos en our history, or Dialogues in our history, in nuestra historia, which is discussions, again, just talks. They are in Spanish about the history of Mazatlan, and they are in different libraries. Again, that's on the calendar. And then Literary Thursday. So they're also making a big push this year, which they hadn't done. Well, they did a little, but not as much as they are now, with teaching about, our book launches and writers and poets and giving, so we have lectures, presentations, poetry recitals, mostly in Casa Haas, but those are also on our calendar. How do you find out about all this stuff? Well, it's really important you go to our Facebook pages. We also have a website, which is www.culturamazatlan.com. And you'll find it there, all the information under the calendar. But on Facebook, if you're here watching me here, you probably obviously have Facebook, but you can go to Friends of Cultura, which is a page that I run for them in English and in Spanish, where I translate it. And so Cultura has like 7 or 8 Facebook pages, and everything from those pages is combined in Friends of Cultura. So you don't have to go to all of them to find out the different information. Anything that's been posted on Facebook will go onto Friends of Cultura. So I highly recommend joining that group. And then, of course, my personal page, which is on Facebook, Lisa Lankins, and I can accept you. And I also have that same information in addition to other things for the city. So I do want to just add one more thing about Cultura, and that's that they run one of the best art schools in Latin America, and it's right next to Plaza Machado. So not only do we have these great shows and concerts and information, we have a school where kids come from all over Latin America to attend classes with the best teachers and get their degrees and everything. So I just want to mention that what they offer is music and singing, including opera, contemporary dance, fine arts, which would be drawing, painting, sculptures, engraving. Workshops are given for children starting at the age of 7. And then they go on up into technical careers in fine arts and other types of degrees. They have theater, which was small before. Now they have a fairly large theater department and a degree available there. Classic ballet, Angela Peralta Choir, cinema workshop, folk dance, literature workshops. Or I'm saying Spanish and English at the same time. So I can't say enough about how proud I am of Mazatlan for this. I've had artists come from many places in the world and say that in Mexico, it seems like we have the best theater here and the best programs here. So I'm really happy about that. We're so lucky. I can say that I want to go on to say something else too. Let me know if you're ready for me to go off of Cultura subject a little bit. It's up to you.
What you said. First of all, the lineup of artists and performances is phenomenal. But what people need to understand, if you haven't been to the Peralta Theater, the theater itself is such a special place to see any kind of performance, let alone tremendous ballet or opera or classical music or whatever the performance is. Just being in that theater with all of its history is just so incredibly special. And about the school, I remember every time I would sit outside and have dinner or enjoy drinks at Pedro and Lola's, you could hear the students rehearsing at the school. You can even peek in the windows and see them rehearsing. And it's a phenomenal school. And it's a tremendous program. There's just so much arts happening there. But I wanted to point it out about the theater. I love the program you mentioned about going out in the community. I think that's phenomenal. How long have they been doing that? That's a tremendous asset.
I have to guess at that. So because they were doing it with the other administration as well. I'm going to say 10 years, maybe 8 years. I don't know. It's not been that long.
Are they bringing artists out into the community, or who's going out into the community, and what are they?
Cultura brings classes of students. They bring, groups that are professional dancers. They bring musicians, theater, any parts of the things I mentioned from the school and from the theater. They will bring sections of that out, and they set up a stage and put up chairs, and the communities all attend, and usually they're completely packed. So yeah.
I love that. Let me ask you this. There used to be a lot more festivals happening in Mazatlan in the past. There's a jazz festival now. Tell us a little bit about the festival scene in Mazatlan, because I know.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've got originally on the website, you can find some of the festivals. Let me just find where I wrote that. Hold on. So they have, of course, Carnaval, the first #1 most known festival that we have. They have the Jose Limon Dance Festival, which we just finished. It's actually run through state Cultura, but they have shows in Mazatlan. We have the Festival Cultural de Mazatlan, which is in the fall. It starts in, well, they've kind of changed it in late September or October, and that's what goes through the end of December. And it has all kinds of, usually there's over 80 presentations throughout the city and the theater, of course. They have the Festival Escena Mazatlan, which has to do with the theater. And so they usually have a week of invited guests and local theater groups that put on plays, both at the theater at Casa Haas and sometimes in public, like in the Machado or in other places in the city. They have the Temporada Primavera, which is the spring season, which is what we're in right now. And spring season goes until mid-July, although things will start, slowing down in June. And so basically in July, there might be a few things, but mostly graduations. Now, after that festival is open, so between July and September, there will be programs, and they will be showing those things or having that calendar or, promoting those specific concerts and things on Friends of Cultura and on my page and on their pages as well. So there's not really a season for that, but they will continue to have things. Now, the Gordon Campbell season is back. I think it was 2 years that they didn't have him, and this year he was back for January and February. And it's a great season where he does his Sunday concerts, usually at noon. And let's see, since the new administration came on, and they've been, making great changes, they've also added things like they added this year an actual parade on the Malecón for Dia de los Muertos, which never has been done before. They always did the callejoneada, which was a smaller type of thing that wove through the streets of downtown and was very cool. But because of the COVID situation, they decided to do it on the street on the Malecón, where they could have a lot more space and control the number of people that were there. It was very successful, in addition to being extremely beautiful. I was just so blown away by that parade. They did some activities this year. They had 4 days of activities in Semana Santa, which they have never done before through Cultura. But they had concerts. They had a mini carnival parade, because we always have a lot of people from out of town who've never seen it. It's advantageous for them to do that, of course, to get them to come back. And we're seeing right now, of course, this time of year, a big push for Mexican tourism, because this is the season where it starts, so they're equally as important as the foreign community, with as far as income and all that during this time of year. They're more important. There's more of them here, of course. So the city is really exposing its culture through Cultura a lot more than they had in the past, which again is, I think, a great idea. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great news, Lisa. So, are the audiences consistent with the seasons? In other words, like the summer season is typically a Mexican season, and like you said, it's bigger than ever because the roads to Mazatlan, Durango, and everything else have become so improved and so much more accessible for Mazatlan. So that Mexican market is flourishing much more than it has in the past. So I would imagine you're seeing that in your audiences in the summer, but like during the expat season and the foreigner season, Canada and US is November to May typically. Are the audiences primarily made up of that, or is it still like a 50-50?
Primarily it's kind of strong, but yeah, a bigger percentage of foreign community in the winter months. That's why they want to promote things in English, of course.
Right.
But yeah, we started a program. I almost forgot to mention it. I was talking with Zoila Fernandez, Zoila is the arts director for Cultura. And she and I were talking about how we need to bring in new fans, right? So people who maybe never been to the theater before or feel it's too, hoity-toity or whatever you want to call it to go, and that they have this experience, or too expensive, because in the States and Canada it's extremely expensive to go to operas or concerts or things like that. So we decided to do a thing which we invited foreign community to come to practices prior to shows. So it's been extremely successful as well. Usually I open it to everybody. I have, during the season, between 50 and 60 people who will show up. It's in the morning, a few days before a ballet or an opera or a concert, and or any kind of dance, actually. But we've had I want to say we've had 6 or 7 of them, and people are just becoming more and more enamored by the idea. So they come to the theater, they see not a dress rehearsal, it's just a rehearsal. And so they don't get to see the stage decorations, they don't get to see the costumes, but for the most part, they get to talk to the maestros, the directors of the shows. They get to know the names of the dancers. They see them interrupted to improve. And the reasons they do these rehearsals because they have dance schools or dance rooms in the school, but they need to now go adapt their performance to a much bigger stage. So they have to practice for at least a week in the Peralta Theater. It's very exciting and really fun, and it's free. So again, I will be posting those things on Friends of Cultura and also on my page. So if you want to go, you can. I don't know. We were doing them only for the foreign community, but then just this last week they did one for La Boheme, for some of the poorer communities. They invited them to come to the theater. So I was really happy to see that happen. It's a great way to bring new fans, to an art.
That's terrific, Lisa. Just a quick shout out to my producer, Toya Glenn, who's doing a great job of posting your addresses and Facebook page on the fly here. And
thank you.
Awesome. And searching and finding the promotions and putting them on the screen. So thank you, Toya. It's fantastic to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
This is we're at the part, Lisa, where we're going to do the lightning round of our interview. With some quick questions about Mazatlan. But thank you so much for the information about the cultural offerings coming up. It's been tremendous, and I think people know how to find your page, how to go to the website, and we'll continue on that theme in a little bit. So tell me, what's your favorite place to eat in Mazatlan?
Oh, God. That's a tough question. There's so many good places to eat. Off the top of my head, Topolo. Topolo is just, always great service and great food and great atmosphere.
Favorite bar in Mazatlan?
What?
Your favorite bar in Mazatlan?
Oh gosh. That's a tough one. I don't really go to bars very much. Let's see, live music. Well, I really love Vista del Palma. I'm going to say that. It's a new favorite. Vista del Palma is above Olas Altas, and it's a great view and a great bar.
Oh, excellent. Your favorite food to eat in Mazatlan?
I'm going to say pescado zarandeado, which is available in the palapas on the beach, where they take a whole fish and grill it over the grill with vegetables. It's delicious.
Yeah, that's yummy. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I always go with the easy answer, shrimp wrapped in cheese and bacon, but that's I don't know if that's still a staple the way it once was, but
it is, yeah. Coconut shrimp, mango sauce is another one that people love.
Yeah, it's great when you have fresh shrimp like that. Anything you do with it's pretty good.
Yes.
How about your favorite beach in Mazatlan?
That I like them all for different reasons. I'm just gonna say Stone Island because you can. Well, there are some places that you can go, restaurants where you can go and be on the beach, like La Mazatleca, Diego's, and then some of the palapas. My favorite is El Pirata on the Malecon, which is one of the palapas on the beach, where you can go and be on the beach and still have service and all that. So it's pretty nice.
I love it. How about your favorite activity in Mazatlan when friends come to visit you?
right now it's a tie between two new things, and one is the Observatorio, which is on the top of Lookout Hill or Cerro del Vigía, and you can take a little cable car thing up. It's not a cable car really. It's like it's on tracks, but it's this thing that goes up the hill, and you get to go to the Observatorio, and it's just beautiful gardens, and there's birds you can hang out with, and there's a bar there as well, and nice beautiful view, of course, of all of Mazatlan from the hill in the lighthouse area. The next thing is the Pirate Museum, which is new. It's really fun. I got to tell you that I really haven't been there yet, but I've seen all the pictures and all of my friends have gone, and I am really enjoying telling people to go there. So it's in Centro, and they've done a great job. They have live pirates and otherwise, and videos and all kinds of great stuff to do. So it's fun.
It's funny, when I was in Mazatlan, I always wanted to do the Love Boat Museum because, back then it was a big show. The Love Boat used to stop in Mazatlan. It was one of the ports of call, and I thought it would be great.
We still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they play the Love Boat theme on the whistle or horn or whatever it is.
Oh, really? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So tell me, there's a new outdoor venue going on down in the downtown area, about like a public like theater that they're working on for special stage for music. No, did I hear that?
Oh, right? You're talking about the Banda.
Yeah, the Banda.
It hasn't started being built yet, but the plans are there. So right before you head up on El Faro, where the sewage treatment plant was, they're going to be taking that all out and putting in a band concert hall.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll miss that smell, but this sounds like a much better idea.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Oh my God. Well, this is great, Lisa. Thanks so much. Did we cover everything that you have coming up, or when do you announce the fall season for people that are coming this
the Venados?
Yeah.
I don't have that information because they're not done they have nothing to do with the city or Cultura, so I don't have that information.
When does the city announce its offerings for the fall? Like if people were planning on coming November, December.
They usually start at the end of October, their season, but okay. I don't know anything else about it. And we also have a brand new soccer field too, so called Kraken. Yeah.
Right. Are there any plans up in the Central Park area for any music or entertainment venues?
Yeah, they've had several. There plans as in a set thing. No, but occasionally they have an event or they have different activities. Right now they already have like kayaks available and pedal boats and the aquarium is going to be opening there. It's still under construction, so a lot going on there.
Yeah, what's the timing of the aquarium now? Or is it too soon to say?
It's too soon to say. I don't have those things yet.
That's going to be fantastic though. Once it's open. I remember taking my kids to the other one, and it was always a great.
I do. There's a couple things I wanted to share. Let me see if I get to him here. Hold on a second. I'm sorry for looking through my notes, but.
No. This is your part of the show. I'm turning it over to you.
Okay. Well, so where to go for official information? The last 2 years have been rough for getting information off of Facebook about the city. I do want to say that Mazatlan is the only city that has someone like me that I know of. I would love to find out there was somebody else, but and I don't think that I'm necessarily so important, but the job is really important, and I have tons of respect for that and for them for allowing me to work, for this much time. But to get official information, they have Facebook pages, and that's where I get my information. It's in Spanish. You can use your computer or Google Translate to translate it, but don't just ask or listen to what's being said on expat groups, because they're great places for some information, and other ones you'll get 40 answers, and some of them are very derogatory or negative. So basically, Ayuntamiento de Mazatlan is City Hall. This is the Facebook page. Protección Civil Mazatlan, CAPTA Mazatlan, Humapam, Policía Mazatlan, Those are all Facebook pages where you can get official information about what's happening. And you can also ask me questions, which is what happens a lot. But if I don't know something, I might have to get back to you about it. One other thing I want to say about Mazatlan too is it's very interesting because it's the only working city on either coast of Mexico that that's considered a tourist town. And right now it's about to be the #1 tourist town in Mexico, but the rest of them were small fishing villages or small towns that were the government invited investors and made it into beautiful resorts and all that, as we know. But Mazatlan has only been, I always get my years wrong since time flies so fast, but I want to say like 8 or 9 years that it's only been that long since tourism has become the #1 income for Mazatlan. Before that, it was fishing and lots of other things. So it's not just a tourist town. We actually have a huge working class community here besides tourism, or that are involved in other things than tourism. They have a new logo that they're using. You can take your picture with the new MZT logo, which is, of course, the 3-letter code or logo for for Mazatlan. If you're flying, you fly into MZT, and you can take a picture in the Ciudades Hermanas with those letters right now. We are trying to get more people to come start businesses, make investments, and I can hook you up with people in the city if you are interested in doing so. And then I wanted to say one more thing, and that's just about these are what I've come up with my ways to live a little better in Mazatlan. So what do? You accept differences and respect with understanding. You dive into daily routine. You don't be afraid to get to know your neighbors. Learn the language as much as possible. That's a huge thing. Ask for help when you need it, and smile. So those are the things that I highly recommend doing if you want to live here.
Yeah, those are fantastic, Lisa. For me, during my years living in Mazatlan, and I hope I'm going to return to that very shortly, but developing patience was one of my things that have stayed with me the rest of my life, because we're living in such a instant gratification world. You want things happening like that, and it just doesn't work that way in Mazatlan, and that's okay. And actually it helps you develop patience in some much better way to live, as you just pointed out. You're going to live longer because you've developed patience and you don't expect the instant gratification.
Yeah. Some people do that much easier than others. They have to realize it and make an effort. But, I jokingly say this, but, that people who can't do it are like terminally expat. They can't, never going to get over it.
They're not going to adapt no matter what,
Right.
I'm glad you said what you did about groups, because, the intent of this show and of my site is to tell positive stories about Mazatlan, and to tell them through people like you that love Mazatlan and that have the correct information and the facts. And it's not just somebody's opinion or somebody's experience from 30 years ago and they're relating it to now. So that's the intent of the Best of Mazatlan show, is to get people that are positive about Mazatlan, tell positive stories from the source and with good, truthful, accurate information. So I appreciate so much you being on the show. I'm sure we're going to want to have you back again before our fall season to talk some more about that. And
I love that.
Yeah, and we'll be more prepared with the visuals this time. But this was fantastic, Lisa. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here, and we're going to definitely do this again, and to thank everybody out there for watching. And I'm going to sign off my Best of Mazatlan show. I'm going to sign off the Best of Mazatlan show with this: we all have choices in life. Choose love, not hate. Choose positive, not negative. And always remember, the glass is half full, and if you're lucky, it'll be half full of tequila from La Sasuna. Stay tuned for the next Best of Mazatlan show on Tuesday, June 7th. We're going to be off next Tuesday for the long weekend, but we'll be back on the air on Tuesday, June 7th, live on Facebook. So we'll see you then. Adios, amigos. Take care.